the Giants game, right? And we saw Jaxson Dart look really, really good yesterday, guys. I know, Coach, you talked about it a little bit prior. We chopped it up a little bit. I'm gonna go over Jaxson Dart's stat line here, guys, but overall, Russell Wilson came out first, and he threw that big pass, and everybody kind of was in awe of it. And we've talked about it. Look, at the end of the day, this is what Russ does do well. He does throw a deep ball very, very well, but it's everything else in between. He takes a lot of sacks. He doesn't really throw the short and intermediate stuff very well, and so for Russ, it could be maddening a little bit if for Neighbors, I think it's going to be a lot of big plays, a lot of downfield work, so that's going to be exciting. But it's everything in between, the short and intermediate stuff I do worry about with Neighbors a little bit if Russ is the starter there. But I do think we're going to get a lot of big plays. Russ 4 for 7, 108 yards, 1 interception. Jaxson Dart, 14 for 16, 137, and a touchdown. Only took 1 sack, and has looked really good back-to-back weeks, stacking back-to-back really good performances. We've talked about it with rookie quarterbacks. We're not really looking at the stat line too much. It's really just about comfortability and looking like you belong, right? That's like the biggest thing. Like does Jaxson Dart look like he can be an NFL quarterback? Does he look like the talent that he's playing against is, that he's one of the best guys, if not the best guy out there? And I think Jaxson Dart definitely showed that, which is encouraging. That doesn't mean it's going to translate to him being a good NFL quarterback when the competition gets better, but it is encouraging for Giants fans. And I think we could see Dart sooner rather than later. Coach, I'll kick it over to you. Looking at this Giants team, I'm going to read off the schedule to you. We all know it's a pretty tough schedule, and I want you to tell me when you think Jaxson Dart would get a shot. So they start at Washington. They start with Washington.
Loss.
They go to Dallas. They go to Kansas City in week 3. They play the Chargers week 4. They could very, very much be 1-3 here. Maybe they steal a win from Dallas in week 2. 1-3. They play the Saints in week 5. Maybe they can squeak a win there.
When they go 1-3, it's Jaxson Dart City. I mean, it is like there's no avoiding it. Like Brian Daboll's already answering questions. Like he was bombarded yesterday after the game about Jaxson Dart already. I think there's real question in New York whether there are 2 quarterbacks behind Russell Wilson better than him. Because Jameis also played pretty good yesterday in the time that he had. Can Russell Wilson win some ball games? Sure, against a decent schedule, but their offensive line is not very good. I think there will come a point where they want to put Jaxson Dart out there, and how soon they want to do it, and I'm sure they have a plan there. But at the same time, that New York media and the fans, like they're going to be clamoring for Jaxson Dart, and there's going to be just no avoiding him eventually.
Yeah, I think week 5, and I'll kick it to you, Matt. Week 5 opens up probably the best week for him to start because it becomes a really brutal stretch, right? I mean, they play the Chargers week 4, right? Maybe they're 1-3, 0-4 at that point. Then they get the Saints week 5. If they don't start him week 5, you're probably looking at the best time to put him back out there is after the bye week, because then they go against the Eagles, they play the Broncos, they go Eagles again, San Francisco, and then Chicago week 10. Maybe that Chicago game is the next closest game that you could see them sticking him in there before the bye week. But if Russ looks bad and they start off slow, I think Daboll is going to have a quick leash here. But Matt, what are your thoughts here? Are you in agreement? And what were your thoughts overall on Dart and what you saw yesterday?
I'll start with Dart. Really positive. You love to see that. I mean, this preseason he's played well. You mentioned it. He's not stacking just one game. Week 1 of preseason he played well then as well. I mean, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, completing 75% of passes. The comment in here is we don't want to look too much into the box scores of preseason. Totally get it. But we also want to look at what they did. How did they play? Did it look like they know what they were doing? And he has looked great so far. I do think that the leash in New York, it might be short with the media, but I think Daboll's not going to put Jaxson Dart out there. I don't think he's going to set him up for failure. I think the true game plan, if they know they're out of the running for the playoffs, which I think we all assume they will be, I think it would probably be week 15 against Washington at home, coming off the bye. You kind of get him worked into the system, continue to develop as we move forward. That's the most likely scenario to me. I don't think they want to play Jaxson Dart in week 4 or week 5. Does it happen? Sure, it could. I mean, we see it every year. One of these guys gets thrust into the situation. Drake May was week 3 last year? So I think that it could happen. I don't think it's the best thing for him. I think the longer he can sit, the better. But it is really reassuring to see that he's played well so far. I mean, if you're a dynasty manager, you got to be giddy. Like, you got to love it, because the idea of having the New York quarterback paired with Malik Neighbors is fantastic. And, this team has developed great on the other side of the ball. I mean, that defensive line is insane. So what we can assume is going forward, they're going to continue to invest pieces on this offense, probably the offensive line, probably another skill position player. So there's better days ahead, as much as I hate it for the New York Giants. But Jaxson Dart kind of looks like he's going to be the biggest benefactor of it all.
He's played really well. Like, Jaxson Dart he's seen rolling coverages. He's seen a lot of a little more complicated things than some of the other guys that are rookies have seen throughout the preseason, and he's handled it really well. The other thing to remember about Jaxson Dart is he's actually a really good athlete. So he's capable of helping you with his feet as well. So there is that also. Yeah,
added a touchdown on the ground. I know it's a sneak, but still, I mean, it's something he has. And Coach, you talked about that a lot. I forget who we were comparing him to pre-draft, but he's more athletic than them. Gosh, who was it? Shador, thank you.
Oh, I thought you were going to keep going. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I think it's tough with Daboll. Here's the thing. Last year, it was very possible that this coaching staff and Schoen could get canned. I think they showed faith that they were willing to run it back, but they want to be competitive. Like, that was pretty much what we heard this offseason. Ownership said to them, hey, we want you, we want to compete. Like, we're not looking at this as like a rebuild year. And so I guess I have concerns in terms of, like, for Russ, like, how quick that leash looks, because to be completely honest with you, the O-line is pretty tough. It's not great there. And while you don't want to throw Jaxson Dart back there and have him, get punch drunk, I would also say that, look, maybe it's a hater in me for Russ, but like, I've seen Russ take some bad sacks last year. So I'm taking some bad sacks in Denver. So I'm taking some bad sacks in Seattle. The difference was when he was younger, he could make up for those bad sacks by making big plays. And he was better out of structure than he is now. And with Daboll, look, if they start off slow, we know the schedule is really, really bad. Like, this fan base loves what they saw from Jaxson Dart. We saw Mara sit there and tell us that he wanted them to keep Barkley because it was their highest selling jersey, like, at one point. Like, so we know Mara cares about what the fans think and sales and all that. And I'll tell you, if this team looks really, really bad the first 4 to 5 weeks, I know Mara is going to be in their ear to say, get Jaxson Dart in there, because that's what the fans are going to be clamoring for. And it's hard when you look at the Giants. They've had really bad quarterback play for years, and those fans see a glimpse of hope. They spent a first-round draft pick on a quarterback. He's looked really, really solid the first 2 weeks. Again, I'm not saying it's going to translate to NFL success for him, but what I would say is, the noise will get loud, and New York media is pretty dang brutal. And we know the Maras like to meddle when it comes to the decisions that are made by the coaching staff and with the roster. And so I do think that's all something to factor in. Before we move on, we're talking Jaxson Dart. Let's talk about his dynasty value here. He's a guy that consistently went somewhere on the 1-2 turn in dynasty drafts for rookie drafts this year. These are just some recent trades that have happened today and, the last 24 hours. You see Jaxson Dart go off for 2 seconds next year. I don't know if that's something I would feel great about. Him go for Jaden Reed, I think that's selling him pretty low too there, to be completely honest with you.
How do we get in these leagues?
Yeah. I think this one is maybe the best looking one because all these are giant packages. But Jaxson Dart for DJ Moore is maybe a little bit better if the DJ Moore team is a contender.
Yeah, I mean, if that's your QB3, maybe your QB4, if you just took the shot, I'm okay with it. But
yeah,
for the most part, give me Dart. Yeah, give me Dart.
No, it's fair. I mean, so
I'm sitting here
Jackson.
sending these offers right now. I'm sending Jaden Reed for Jaxson Dart right now.
Well, this says Jaxson Dart for Troy Franklin. That's a one quarterback league. Quarterbacks are so hard to move in one quarterbacks. I'm not saying that's a great trade either. It's a 12-man, but I think overall, some of these packages are interesting. Jaxson Dart and Mahomes for Luther, Caleb, and a second. I still think I would take the Dart and Mahomes side there. Some pretty awful looking trades, to be honest, that have been made the last 24 hours involving Jaxson Dart. I would have thought teams would have maybe gotten more than this. It seems like teams are getting less than I would have expected, to be honest.
Go buy Dart.
Yeah, maybe that's a sign to go buy him, because maybe the market's not nearly as high on him just yet. But